Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we'll talk about our own finals predictions. We'll also be talking about what's going on with the Bulls scheduling workouts of players who are not even expected to be drafted, and some late in the second round. We'll also get into that and a draft profile on Patrick Baldwin. All that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls. Today's episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Amazing selection, reliable low prices, all parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them Locked On sent you. And Locked On Bulls is a member of the Locked On Podcast Network. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, and we are Locked On Bulls. And we're about to get right into it. Pat, Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors, NBA Finals. How many games do you see this going? I talked about the last game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals on yesterday's episode. But today, if you want to talk any about that, you can. But otherwise, what are your predictions for the NBA Finals?
I mean, I think we all saw what happened, man. I think the one thing I will say is just congrats to Jimmy for playing a heck of a series. Had some down games in there, but really came back and showed when you need it and when you stick a needle in that knee to make it feel better. That he can ball out, and I like the shot. To me personally, I like the shot. But finals prediction for me, man. Listen. Boston and Golden State were both heading for Boston and Miami were both heading for the Stephen Curry invitation. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not get it twisted here. Now, injury can play into it, right? Like, this is probably how a lot of people felt when Toronto was going up against Golden State, and all of a sudden, a couple injuries take place. Now it's a completely different series. Injury not playing into it. Everybody's healthy, full out. Golden State 4-1 for me, and because I think that Golden State will, I don't want to say let Boston get a game, but maybe take their foot off the. Let Boston get a game.
Exactly.
Let Boston get a game.
They're going to pull a Golden State, which is they let a team get one so they can
win in Golden State.
Win on their home court. That's what Golden State does. So let's just be. We're very real here at Locked On Bulls. So we're going to be honest with that. Yeah, they're going to let them win.
I was trying to be no, they're going to let them get a game. Basically, it's like Steph throwing up shots, Draymond not really hustling to the ball. And I think that it goes 4-1. I think it's going to be quick. I think that the shooting of Golden State, while it can be better defended by Boston than any other team Golden State has played, I think it's too hard to guard 4 guys that in any given game can go off for 30.
Okay.
Steph, Wiggins, Clay, Poole.
Okay.
It's tough.
Here's what I'm going to present to you, right?
Let's do it.
All right. So the way that you feel about this, and the way I feel too, let me be clear in saying I 100% agree with you. This is just for the interest of conversation that I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of us felt the same way going into the series against the Heat and the Dallas Mavericks. And it took a solid Dirk Nowitzki and JJ Barea of all people to go off in nuclear to blow up that series. Is there any chance in which we see Tatum, Brown, Smart, anybody go off and really change and completely dictate the pace of the series to where Boston can win? Are we shooting them a little too short? Because I believe it's going to be 4-1 as well. But are we shooting them too short? Is there a chance that this series may go the distance and Boston may win it?
There's always a chance, right? Like I said, injury or just somebody goes nuclear. The thing is, right, like when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown play great together, they're one of the best teams in basketball. We just have seen a lot of up and down on them playing well together, right? Like Jaylen Brown will have a good quarter, Jason Tatum will have a good quarter. Jaylen Brown will have a good half, Jason Tatum will have a good half, which is fine, right? But like now you're playing teams where we watched you struggle. Like we can make the Dallas to Miami comparison. The thing you got to remember about that Dallas team, they went through Kobe. They went through a lot of great teams in that Western Conference. That they went through Steve Nash. They went through, you know what I'm saying? A lot of tough teams in that Western Conference that season to get to the NBA Finals. Where Boston, yes, they did go through tough teams. They went through Brooklyn, who we thought would play better, but it turned into a very aggressive form of basketball that I think Brooklyn wasn't able to handle. Which credit to Boston. Listen, it's about what works. When you got the Milwaukee, they switched it up. Tried that aggressive defense. You can't do that against Giannis. It still worked. But again, a lot of situations where it was Giannis. I'll throw Drew in there and the rest of them. You had KD. I mean, Kyrie didn't even show up for some of them games. So again, we're talking about KD by himself and the rest of them because Seth Curry is hurt. LA was giving you nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then you get now to the Miami Heat where it was Jimmy Butler and the rest of them. I can't say that you're going up against Steph Curry and the rest of them, right? Where that Dallas team, JJ Barea goes nuclear and was absolutely listen. The one thing you can never forgive Brian for, cooking LeBron. Let's not get this cooking LeBron out here. But there were multiple pieces that also were giving you their normal production while one guy went off. Who's the guy that's going to go nuclear outside of Tatum and Brown? I mean, Pritchard. I don't think Marcus Smart's the answer there. Maybe you get a game out of Al Horford, but again, can you do that for an entire series?
Look,
that's the question.
We're missing everything on this. It's going to be former Bull Luke Cornett who's going to go off in this series. He's going to dictate
fire. Luke Cornett is going to drop straight bucket on everybody. Remember, y'all. Luke Cornett is a Robert Horry type player per Jim Boylan. And so you got to watch out for him when the game's on the line. Mr. Big Shot Jr.
Could you imagine if Luke Cornett did go off, that Jim Boylan would find somebody's show to be on? He'd be like, I told you guys. You remember when I told you? I told you guys, this is why I'm the best coach ever. I saw this potential in Luke Cornett. And listen,
bro,
it'll just be all
they're gonna show the clip of Stacey just laughing at him and then be like, and this is what I predicted that day.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this dude already, man.
But here's my outlook on it, is that I think that it's going to be really Boston's inability to close out games. If you look at everything that every series, they have an inability to hold on to leads and close out games. And as a team that did that early in the season with the Chicago Bulls, that can really come back. And a team like Golden State, you got to be able to close out games, because as we know, you can be in the fourth quarter up by 30 and all of a sudden they've hit 12 threes and now you're down by 6 wondering what the hell just happened. And it can happen in like 6 minutes.
And the weird part is, right, like I understand that we look at the series that just happened versus Miami and say, oh, they won this many quarters. Oh, they came out ahead in this many quarters. It should have been 4-0. It should have been 4-1. You're not going to have the opportunity to just outscore Golden State in one quarter, which Boston did in many of those games, minus really the last two, to just outscore Golden State in one quarter and then sit on it the rest of the game. With Miami, you can. Miami doesn't have enough firepower to come back. They just don't. I said it, like, and I kudos to Miami in those last two games, especially Jimmy Butler, for Jimmy really going nuclear and fighting his way back into it. But they just, when Miami went down 20, you kind of had that feeling of, all right, this is done.
Yeah.
If Jimmy doesn't start hitting, it doesn't matter. Bam's not going to turn up. Tyler Hero's not playing. Everybody else, Strus can't get a shot right now. It's done. Versus Golden State. Golden State was down 19 twice. Twice versus Dallas in the same game. And they won by 8.
Hey, Golden State's different, fam. They just built different. Prediction. Who's going to win Finals MVP? I'm predicting this. Because of the defense that's going to be needed, Klay Thompson wins his first Finals MVP this year.
I am predicting Stephen Curry will win MVP because I think the NBA is going to look at it and be like, y'all know we never gave this dude Finals MVP before? Like, I think
wait.
So
it was Iguodala, it was KD, and then who?
KD.
And then who won it the third ring? Who won it then?
Iggy.
Was it KD twice?
I think it was KD twice. Right?
I don't remember. Like, that just blew my mind. It completely missed me that Steph Curry has never won a Finals
Let's
MVP.
see. Finals MVP. I could be wrong. I may be wrong, but let's see. Jesus, I hate that it starts at like the beginning of time. It's like Jerry West. Thank you. Kevin Durant, Andre Iguodala.
Okay. Well,
Stephen Curry has never won a Finals MVP, so I think for that reason,
Wardell is going to win the Finals MVP.
He's going to win Finals MVP because somebody's going to look at it and be like, "How have we never given this dude Finals MVP?" Well, Iggy played great situational defense. Didn't Brian average 29? Huh?
He did, but it was listen.
He played great defense.
Listen.
I'm not taking it away, but the numbers would say.
I feel you. All right. We're gonna go ahead and gotta head into a break, man. Next up, we're gonna be talking about what are the Bulls exactly planning to do in the draft with all the workouts they've been scheduling. But first, I got to talk to you guys about PrizePicks. Are you looking for a daily fantasy option for the NBA? Then you need to try the award-winning app PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. I love this, and we know you will too. It's easy to use. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over/under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. It's just you versus the projected numbers. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's just that easy. PrizePicks is safe and offers fast withdrawals. Use the award-winning app on both the App Store and Google Play. PrizePicks offers any prop you can think of, from points scored to rebounds, even assists. And PrizePicks doesn't just offer NBA. They have options on college basketball, college football, NFL, MLB, soccer, MMA, and much more. So for a limited time, PrizePicks has an exclusive no-brainer offer for all of our listeners. Users get $50 free if any player in your first PrizePicks entry scores a single point, but you must use the code NBA. That's right. This is an exclusive offer available to Locked On fans. Sign up today and use the code NBA for $50 free if a player in your first PrizePicks entry scores a single point. All right. Next, we're going to head into talking about listen, I don't know what the Bulls are planning on doing. AK and Eversley, we've already said it. AK's Batman. He has a plan for the plan for the plan for the plan. And that's just that's just plan A. We're not even talking plan B through Z. But a lot of the workouts that they've scheduled so far are all players who are either projected to be in the second round or completely undrafted by most mocks. Now, they've recently scheduled a workout with Vance Jackson Jr., who is literally not listed on a single mock draft. Now, Pat, do you think that there's a deal? Like, I've had a conspiracy theory before that the Bulls may be making a deal, and I don't necessarily think moving their 18th pick, but they may make a deal to acquire or have somebody trade for them so they can get somebody else. But if it is a bigger deal, if it's part of a larger deal, whatever ends up happening, what does it say to you that the Bulls are looking this deep into players who aren't even on a single mock draft, Pat?
I think this is the beginning of the setup of the G League becoming a legitimate minor league system. What I mean by that, there are, how many guys in college basketball that we watch that are ballers?
Mm-hmm.
But what do we say? He won't be able to do that at the next level.
Kofi Cockburn.
Come on, brother. No. Well, even with let's take that analogy, a Kofi Cockburn. But Kofi is 7 feet tall, 260 pounds.
No, 300 pounds. Kofi is 300 pounds.
Well, 300. Maybe that's what it's. 285 is listed right now, but maybe during season he got up to 300, or maybe he's currently 300.
Okay.
7 feet, 285, 300 pounds, whatever it is. If we add this to his game, he will be a monster at the NBA level. The G League is that. This is going to be the norm for teams now. I feel like this is the first season where we're seeing it because we have competent GMs that are actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But teams are looking at the G League as a real option. So there's going to be a lot of guys who go undrafted, who aren't looked at on mock drafts, that the Bulls might say, hey, not right now, but we'll pay you a little bit of money. We'll give you a whole lot of training, and we'll get you to the point where either you enter the draft next year or in 2 years, you're good enough to come play for us. And we're going to take that next step. I think that's what you're seeing AK set up here, because to me, we're looking at names that, like, let's be real. This is the first time you heard his name today.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, we're looking at guys that this is the first time we've heard their name today, but some scout in the Bulls organization probably was like, hey, now this kid can play. This kid's got it. He's raw, and there's going to have to be some refinement of his game. But I would like to see us go get him undrafted, put him on the Windy City Bulls, and see what he can do. I think that's more so what you're seeing from AK here, where and Mark Eversley, where they're looking at these guys that are nowhere near the draft board, and you're looking at guys you can develop long term.
Now, the only thing that makes me question that, right, is because there are a lot of people on the back end that are a lot younger. Vance Jackson Jr., by the start of this NBA season, guess how old he'll be, brother?
Say 24, because he stayed an extra semester to find himself.
25 years old.
That's old.
Now that sounds like Malcolm Hill from this year. But so that's the only thing that makes me question is that, you know, if they were looking at younger players that were slated to go undrafted, then maybe you could take a look and say, hey, we put 2 years into you.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you turn into something that then we can bring into our team. But him being that old, and he was only a sophomore. How are you a almost 25-year-old sophomore?
I'd love to know his story, actually. Like I said, I didn't look at anything from him out. Well, he can't be a 25-year-old. Did he transfer? Because he's got stats to go back to 2017.
Oh, really?
2017, 18, 19,
he probably
19,
did
20.
transfer. He probably lost a year eligibility then.
Maybe.
But,
Maybe because of COVID as well.
Yeah. So he turns 28 August 20th, which would be before
25.
the season starts. Yeah, 25. So yeah. That's not old by any stretch of the imagination. And listen, some players, when you look at campaign, he got drafted, had to go away and come back. He didn't really become a relevant NBA player until he was about 25, 26. So it's not that it's completely out the realm of possibility. I'll just say that it raises even more questions because of his age. Now, with that being said, if you find a player that's a steal at any, and that may be why he's not on any mocks, because who's going to put
25 is probably the reason.
Yeah,
I'm not drafting you at 25.
But hey, you could draft him, spend a year in the G League, come back at 26, and he's a 6'9", 230-pound power forward with an almost 7-foot wingspan. Hey, if he just turns into if you sign that guy as an undrafted free agent and he just comes in as a defensive stopper and rebounder, guess what? You've gotten something out of him more than anybody could think.
Here's the thing. He is. Now, I'm not acting like I know any of his game, but I can see these numbers, and he played 31 minutes a game, shoots 40% from 3. So he could literally be 3 and D, could literally be a guy that you bring onto the court. Don't look like a lot of athleticism from that one clip that just played.
That's true.
But it could be a guy that you literally, can you get good enough where we can put you on the bench? Because what was our issue this year? We don't have bench guys that know what the heck we're doing. We're bringing guys in off the street.
Mm-hmm.
At a minimum, you got guys in the Windy City Bulls that, they're 24, 25 years old, sure. But I can bring you up and say, hey, we're running this set that we also run down there, and you know how to fit into that.
Yeah. He actually, and I just did some research here, he actually transferred twice. He started off at UConn, transferred to New Mexico, and then then he transferred to Arkansas, and then finished his college career at East Carolina. So he's been well-traveled all over the place. His final season, 13.1 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 1.2 rebounds per game. Like you said, 39% shooting from the field, but 40% shooting from the three-point range. So hey,
it's all from 3. So he literally just jacks threes.
He just jacks threes. So, yeah, I mean, hey, you know, the thing that this is AK and Eversley, the fact that they're even doing their due diligence this deep, that makes me more confident for what they're doing at the 18th pick. Yeah. Because what it seems like they're doing is that they're using their workouts to really try to figure out maybe not unsurprised, but a surprising move to make maybe after the draft. But the fact that they don't really seem to be doing much around some people who are expected to be drafted at 18th either tells me maybe they're trading that pick, or maybe they've already done so much research, like we said, AK with his folders, right? That they know who they're selecting at the 18th pick, no matter how this draft goes.
Now, I will say, if you're drafting someone at 18, I'm a little concerned that you haven't worked any of them out.
This is true.
But
they haven't been going to those group workouts.
Yeah, they've gone to the
group
group workouts. They've gone to the group workouts. So maybe you can see what you want to see from there. And listen, we're still, what are we, 24 days away from the draft? Something like that. So there's still plenty of time for them to get guys in here for individual workouts that they might be taking at 18. But the fact that we haven't seen them work out guys that we feel like would go there might tell you that maybe they are moving on from 18 and they don't expect that pick to be there. So they're saying, hey, listen, we're going to make this trade, but understand this, it's your pick, and then we'll trade them to you. So whoever you find, we'll get them for you. So it'll be interesting to see, man. I'm very intrigued by what the Bulls are doing. I'm not nervous that AK might be doing I'm the smartest guy in the room, so just listen to me no matter what. But I'm a little nervous. Don't worry about it, man. Okay. Hey, man. Before we get into this final topic, where we're gonna break down Patrick Baldwin Jr., we do have to tell you guys this episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure often pointlessly, seemingly intimidating questions like, is your Odyssey an LX or an EX, bruh? And wait for the person behind the counter who has no idea what either of those parts are to go click-clack on the computer, choose only the brand that's in the warehouse, and then all of a sudden, you're just like, this ain't even what I need. You have computer access right now with rockauto.com in your pocket. You can save time and money with Rock Auto. I choose to spend 30, 50, even 100% more for some parts from a chain store or car dealership when you can go to rockauto.com. Their prices are their prices are reliably low for every customer, and you can go explore their easy-to-use website today and find a solution for your auto part needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the available parts for your car and or truck, right locked on in there. How did you hear about us section, so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com.
You got to throw that in there. It's not official if we don't throw that in there at the end.
It's not even a read. We don't get paid.
There you go. And talk about making it official. Let's go ahead and talk about Patrick Baldwin, who is somebody who's slated to be drafted around the Bulls, around that area of the 18th pick. He's actually slated to go a little bit later than that, but he is somebody interesting to talk about because he could be a potential pick for the Chicago Bulls. So I'm going to turn it over to you first before I even get into it. What are your thoughts on Patrick Baldwin, Pat? From one Pat to another Pat.
I think, and I'm going to say this, and listen, he may turn into Jordan Poole. We've seen this a million times. He's got all the intangibles. He's got all the skill set too. 6'9" wing. He's got a 6'11" wingspan. He's got great mobility for his size. He seems like he has good mechanics on his jump shot, but he didn't knock it down at a high enough clip in college. He also only played 11 games. Go back to school, young man. I understand that he plans to play. He plans to stay in the draft. There was a chance that he might drop out of it. But to me, you're never going to reach the potential you want to reach unless you just want to be drafted, right? He's got all of the intangibles to just be drafted into the NBA. But I think that learning yourself at a higher competitive level, if college ain't for you, drop out and join the G League, legitimately. But learn what you can do. Learn your body. Learn how you play. Learn what you can do well versus tougher competition, because a year to me can make all the difference if you come into this league unprepared. Yes, you can still grow into a reliably player, a reliably good player. But I think a year took Austin Rivers from being nice, a guy that we talk about as, oh, he's nice, I would love to have him on my team, he'd be able to run the offense well. But he should have been, no, Austin got everything we need in a point guard. And I think literally coming into the NBA too early changed the entire trajectory of his career. Go back to school, young man.
I especially agree with you there because when you look at like his numbers from the draft combine, like this can't be the he scored in like the bottom 5 percentile in most of these things, bro. Like that's
Yep.
just not good. Now, and again, when you tell, it's different from playing with the basketball in your hand between telling somebody, "Hey, go out there and just run in this line for me real quick." Because
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are very quick running in a straight line, but when you put them on the basketball court with the basketball in their hand or guarding somebody, listen, they're not that quick in real life. So it can be a little bit misleading. That 26.5-inch vertical, listen, 35-year-old Haize can jump higher than that right
And I
now.
know, here's the thing. I've seen him hoop. I've seen him
Yeah.
hoop like
I know,
he
yeah,
jumps higher than that.
yeah, and
He,
that's the thing.
he's got everything, but he didn't show.
And and he's also coming off a disappointing season in college as well. So
Yeah.
like everything combined, like I'm surprised his what he I don't know if he's officially hired an agent, which would then make him stay in the draft. But if he has any type of advisors or anything, I'm surprised that they're not in his head. Like, listen, man, you really need to stay another year. You really now that does not really change. Like as much as stay another year, while that can affect your draft position if you decide to wait another year, it really I don't think is going to hurt his long-term potential because if he gets a team that drafts him, obviously they're invested in him and hopefully they have a plan on how to develop him. But we'll see how it goes. Looking at his raw stats, offensively he has a lot. Offensively, he also with his size, he uses his size very well.
Yeah.
And the fact that he can get a little bit bigger in the NBA, that's going to bode well from 220 pounds, 6'10". Hell, we talked about some power forwards that were 205 pounds. The fact that he already knows how to use his size, use his strength, I think is going to be big for him, especially if he does end up playing power forward in the NBA. But some of that lateral quickness, some of the lapses on defense, they do raise some concerns. But overall, like I said this before on Chicago Bulls Central, while I'm not completely down on a Patrick Baldwin if he ends up being the pick, I just think that there are players that are going to be available around there that not only have a better upside, but have a better ability to contribute right away in their rookie season for the Chicago Bulls. Patrick Baldwin, I think, would be a pick that you do draft and that you believe in their long term, but you may have to spend part of your season, or if not the whole season, down in the G League really developing.
Yeah, I if I was gonna give a comparison for him, probably your poor man's MPJ with a little bit better defense.
Okay, you're
With a
going
little bit
the
better defense.
MPJ route. Okay.
I would say, I mean, you look at, listen, I know that here's the thing about him. I know that he will be able to play. I think that the level of development that he'll get to is based on what decision he makes, right? Because when you enter the draft, you could go to a team, you could go to the Bulls, you could go to a team with poor development team. You could go to a team with a great development team like Golden State. You could, like, you're not in control of your destiny. He's going to go probably top 45 based on the fact that he can put the ball in the basket. He's 6'10". He dribbles like a small forward. He's probably going to play power forward because of the weight, but he's got a 7'1" wingspan. So he's going to get drafted. I don't think that that's a question.
Yeah,
But I don't think that he's ready to come in and make a rotation right now. Like, that's the part, right? That's the part that really hurts you. When you get drafted and you just sit there and you don't get any game time.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I hope Patrick Baldwin, he says he's gonna stay in the draft, so he's probably going to be around. Listen, I can't say I don't think AK might not pick him because it's a very AK style guy, somebody that's going to develop and turn into something one day. Yeah. And it might take some time and you don't want to miss out on those guys, but I would personally stay away from Patrick Baldwin and I would go elsewhere, not based on what he can be, but based on where the Bulls are right now. Like I said, if you're drafting at 18, you need people that are making an impact.
My question is this. All right, because there's somebody who falls every year, and I think his age will keep him from falling out of the first round. But let's say he does fall into the second round.
Yeah.
Let's say he goes to about pick 33 3 to 35. If you were AK, would you make a call to a team with that 35th pick and be like, hey, what can we do to go ahead and get Patrick Baldwin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because I feel like second round, send him to the G League for a year. He's that level of player. I think he can play. I think he will be a nice player. I just don't think he's ready right now.
Yeah.
And you can't waste 18 on not ready right now.
I'm right along there with you. Especially with the fact that the Bulls need to improve their bench, right? Once Zach LaVine's locked up, the focus is improving that bench. And because of that, if you can get a player that can contribute on your bench right now, that's what you need to be bringing.
I'll be honest with you. If we were the Bulls last year, I would pick Patrick Baldwin at 18.
That's fair. That's fair.
Or 2 years ago, I guess I said when we were struggling, I would pick Patrick Baldwin at 18. Okay. Because I think he will be a nice player in the NBA. I just don't think you have time to wait for that to happen.
That's fair. Where do you sit right now? Yeah, and I know this is going to be something I probably ask at least once every 2 weeks until the damn draft. But Bulls keeping the 18th pick, or are they moving the 18th pick? Where you sit at it right now?
I think based on the fact that we've seen a lot of guys like I said in the previous segment, we haven't seen the Bulls interview any of the guys that we thought they'd be talking to. We haven't seen them talk to EJ Liddell, haven't seen them talk to Mark Williams. We haven't seen them talk to any of the guys that were like, hey, this is what the Bulls need here, and they say he's going to be drafted near this position. I think right now I'm still on they're moving the pick. They're going to trade it probably with a player to go get something. But if a week before the draft, 2 weeks before the draft, all of a sudden we start seeing stuff flood in. We're like, oh, they're working out EJ Liddell. They're working out this guy. They're working out that guy. Then they're probably keeping it.
Yeah. I was of the mindset that I really did. I came into this offseason fully expecting the Bulls to package it with rather Kobe, somebody else, and move that 18th pick. But after doing so many draft profiles over on Chicago Bulls Central and looking at so much tape on people, there are so many players in this draft that can contribute right away to the Bulls bench that I think they may keep it, man. I think that they may keep it.
Are there people at those positions, though, that because this draft is actually loaded? Like, I think it's more loaded with role players than it is with stars.
It is superstar talent, absolutely.
But because it's as loaded as it is, do you see them moving the pick anyway and waiting to just grab some of these guys?
But the thing is that I don't think, because there is a lot of them, and that's why I think some of these players are going to get pushed maybe outside of the draft, but I don't know if anybody who can give an impact right now is going to be pushed outside of the draft. Now, the people that you can bet on to eventually turn into solid role players, there are going to be a lot of those out and undrafted in this draft. But really, like, I look at, because after watching tape on Walker Kessler, that is somebody who can give the Bulls everything they need from a backup center today. And then so like Jalen Williams, really Jaden Hardy, like EJ Liddell, who you've already covered. Like, there's so many players that can really give the Bulls something right now that I'm just more so leaning towards them keeping it, because why spend $8 to $10 million on a player that, they're more veteran right now, but you can bring in a player a little bit younger, and player picks that low, or $2-3 million on the salary cap?
Yeah.
For a team that's trying to save money after signing Zach LaVine to a max contract, to me, it makes more sense that way. But again, AK and Eversley are thinking, I'm thinking chess. They're thinking 3D chess. They're doing that StarCraft. So I can't even think the way that they think.
He moved up and over and out with them. Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, because I think that, and the difference is, right, don't think about it from a team standpoint of we're missing this, and this. Think about it from a team standpoint of you have Zach, Lonzo, DeMar, and Vooch already. If you had a rookie to that, like even just adding Io in the way he was playing this season, that pushes you a little bit further, because you're just adding him into a team that's already good. Exactly. So that could make the difference too.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting times around the draft. I can't wait till we do an episode after the draft, because I just feel like whatever happens, we're going to have our mind blown a little bit, fam.
It's going to be like, AK not only kept the pick, he drafted a 5'10" point guard. What's going on, bro? We got guard back in the building? No, I'm just playing. I'm joking. Don't worry about it, Bulls fan. He's got it.
But if there's nothing else, man, that's it from us for today.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. It's at PATTHEDESIGNER. Because I did go to public school because they taught that to spell. I'm doing it now just to annoy you. Also follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, CEO Haize. I don't have no catchy phrase after my name because guess what? It is what it is. Man, thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen of the day. Now for your second listen, go and check on Locked On NBA. We're the Locked On experts to walk you through everything going on with the NBA and the upcoming finals. So make sure you check them out wherever you get your podcast. But that's it from us for today. This has been Locked On Bulls for Pat the Designer. I'm Haize, and we out, y'all.
Peace.